You may be thinking that this is a Tana Mojo type of video where I admit I'm wrong for like the 700th time, how I'm going to change, I'm going to be different, how I'm taking steps to educate myself, when in reality, my therapist just canceled on my first therapy session, and I had to cancel on our second because I had to get a colonoscopy. And getting a camera shoved up my ass took priority. God, does it feel weird to feel guilty every single day for 1,000,001 things, even though deep down inside you know you're really not at fault. Everything's okay. It's just your constant inner monologue being like, you messed up, this is your fault, you should feel ashamed. And I don't want this video to be down and gloomy because that's not what it is. However, I do think that guilt isn't talked about often enough, and I often feel really alone with it. And I think that makes me feel guiltier because I think I'm the only person who feels this way. And maybe I'm making this video to reassure that within myself that I'm not the only person who feels this way. And I think me talking through my guilt issues and what I think helps me may not only help myself, but you as well. In order to make sure that the mood is set and right for this video, let's play some music. Okay, not that. Since we are big on the topic of mental health in this video, I did want to mention that today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Thank you so much, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video. Today's video topic surrounds heavily around mental health, and you guys know that I love therapy and have been going to therapy. My personal problems with guilt issues has actually led me to wanting to go to therapy. And that's something that interferes with my happiness and achieving my goals, and you may be struggling with something similar too. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. And it's really timely because you can start communicating within 48 hours. It's not a crisis line, it's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 15,000 plus counselor network, which may not be locally available in so many areas. The service is available for clients worldwide, and you can log in at any time and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, and you can schedule weekly phone or video sessions, so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room like you would with traditional therapy. They also make it free and easy to change counselors if necessary, which I really appreciate because I know the struggle of not having a therapist or counselor that is right for you. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is also available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit betterhelp.com/Nicole Rafiee, that's better H-E-L-P, and you can join the 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. This is a special offer for all of you guys that watch my channel because you can get 10% off your first month if you go to betterhelp.com/Nicole Rafiee. Thank you so much, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video. Thank you, BetterHelp. Also, if you know what's going on in the screen behind me, then you have been around on this channel for too long. Make sure that you subscribe if you want to be nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also, make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you're gross. Kind of weird how I'm guilting you into that, but let's ignore that. Okay, so guilt. Guilt holds me back a lot in my life. And I know this for quite a while. I just never knew what the feeling I was feeling was, and I felt it for many years, like probably since I was a kid, but I didn't realize that the emotion was actually guilt. I thought I just felt like shit. I mean, I did, but guilt is such a paralyzing feeling, whether you actually did something wrong or even if you didn't do anything wrong. I have like different categories of guilt that I personally hold. I have money guilt, which I made a whole podcast episode about. I have guilt over inconveniencing others. I've had guilt over having depression. I have had guilt for wanting my needs and wants met. I have massive guilt over wanting to progress and move on with my life. And overall, I would just say that I have social guilt. I want to go through all of these feelings of guilt in case any of you guys relate to some of the feelings that I have, and also some things that have helped me, although I am not like over it. I am not over it whatsoever. I remember thinking that me having this feeling often just means that I'm just a caring person. Like, I care so much of those around me, and I am a really generous person for even thinking that far ahead about inconveniencing others or making others suffer because of me. When in reality, that doesn't mean I'm a caring person. Like I do think I'm a caring person, but I don't think that my guilt issues make me a caring person. If anything, I think it makes me a less caring person because I'm neglecting myself. I'm literally not caring for myself. How does that make me a caring person? It doesn't work like that. Money guilt. This is probably one of the biggest ones, and I didn't realize that so many people also had similar feelings about money guilt after I made my podcast episode. My family is not wealthy. Having a single mother and seeing her work hard for her money, and me being an only child, put a lot of guilt on me as I was growing up, and made me realize that me asking for big, massive things that maybe my friends at school were getting was actually putting a strain on my family. And no one ever said that to me. Like, it was never said to me, like, Nicole, you asking for $5 puts a strain on. That's never been said to me. However, it was something that I assumed and caught on about. And this entire time growing up, I was like, oh, I'm just a frugal kind of lady. Like, I just really know how to save my money. The show Extreme Couponer excited me as an 8-year-old. And so me today, as a grown 21-year-old woman who's financially independent, I now cannot buy groceries for myself without me feeling guilty about it. I will literally view groceries and other necessities as a luxury and like a treat to myself. And it makes me want to do those things less and less. I struggle to buy new things for myself all the time. Any of my friends and family around me can tell you that me buying anything, it could be as little as $10 to thousands of dollars that I may need for like work or something. I almost view them as like the same playing field. Like, I can understand buying something for like $1,000. Yeah, that's something that maybe you want to consult with someone in your family about, talk about it, hear other people's opinions, but not when something is $10. So should you have the same amount of struggle? I struggle so bad when people ask me how much I paid for something because I feel like they're instantly judging me and that I'm financially irresponsible, and I feel the need to over-explain myself why I bought something. I'll knock down the price and lie sometimes and be like, oh, it's actually just like $10 cheaper than what I actually bought it for, so that people are not thinking that I'm just throwing my money around as if it's anyone's business. I feel like I have to justify every single thing that I buy. And because of the massive amount of stress that buying things brings me, I rarely buy things for myself personally or things that I may even need. And when I realized that I was putting my decisions, especially my money decisions, in the hands of those around me rather than myself, I realized I'm not really that financially independent, because in reality, my finances are dependent on the opinions of those around me rather than my own thoughts, because I can't make up my mind myself, because I feel like I don't deserve anything. And this is something I've definitely gotten better with and better about, but the things that have genuinely helped me, and it sucks to have to say this because this is not like an easy thing, the only really big thing that has helped me with money guilt is spending my money.
It'll be good for the economy.
Realizing that me spending my money isn't taboo, nothing bad is going to happen if I buy groceries. Obviously, everyone's finances are vastly different. However, what I'm trying to say is that you should not feel like you don't deserve to be happy, even if the happiness comes with the exchange of money. I also had to stop asking my friends advice and approval for things and just start making decisions on my own. Decision making is very, very difficult for me, and it comes probably also from a place of guilt. Once I started making my own decisions, I realized I could trust myself. And obviously budgeting and realizing how much you can afford in a month to spend and splurge on yourself helps immensely. I also have massive guilt about disappointing my friends and wondering if they're angry at me. I really have gotten a lot better at this. I used to consistently ask people around me, like every couple minutes, are you mad at me? Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me? That's annoying. I still get this feeling sometimes. Like, I'll do something and I'm like, okay, well, would this friend be disappointed if I did this? Would I lose this person's friendship even though they've never shown any sort of disinterest or anger towards me ever before? Even if this person was never a bad friend to me and was always constantly supportive, my brain was just like, you're going to make them angry and upset with you. I had to realize that you have to assume that your friends are not angry at you. You cannot live life thinking that the base of all your friendships is anger towards you. You have to think of literal neutrality or good. Unless my friend tells me that they are angry at me or I'm getting strong context clues that they're upset with me, they're likely not upset with me. Because constantly questioning your friendship and asking those types of questions consistently puts a strain on your friendship. Whether you realize it or not, that person is thinking, does this person even trust me? Also, it helps to stop being friends with people who are shitty to you. Because there are definitely friends in your life who are just consistently having negative emotions towards you, and you don't need people like that in your life. Something else I have guilt over is inconveniencing others. I have so much guilt asking anyone for my wants or needs to essentially be met. I would rather go out of my way than to ask for help, even if it's from a friend. And I like to think of myself as pretty independent, but that, when you really think about it, is not very independent, because an independent person would ask for help, or at least try to ask for help in order to benefit themselves. Going out of your way to avoid confrontation or asking for help is not a girl boss power move moment. It's a cop-out, because an independent person would do what's best for them. The people in your life are in your life for a reason and would likely want to help you. And I also like to think, like, when's the last time that I've been annoyed when a friend has asked me for help or needs something from, like, never. I'm like glad to help. So why wouldn't my friends be? Why am I assuming the worst of those around me? When I'm out with like my friends or my boyfriend, I'm always constantly worrying about, are they having the best possible time right now? And if not, how can I make it better? As if their emotions are constantly dependent on me. I'm sometimes not living my life to the fullest on nights out or a really, really fun time or a big event, because my constant worry is I'm not giving 100% of myself to those around me, and I'm making them not as happy as they could be. And you are not responsible for other people's feelings or emotions. Being honest with someone, especially if you trust them, and being like, this is really difficult for me to do, but I'm going to tell you that I want this or I need this. I feel like humility and acting like a real human being towards other human beings will often help you in conversations way more than you think. And then just practicing at telling people what you want or you need in your life. This is a new one for me, but I have a lot of guilt over wanting to progress in my life and go forward. It's weird because when other people talk poorly about me or badly about me and say that what I'm doing is stupid and they don't like my YouTube channel and it's embarrassing, I don't care at all. I love what I do, and someone from high school being mean about one of my passions, it doesn't affect me. However, when I think about my life and my success, I suddenly feel like I don't deserve it. Now, if someone else was mean to me and told me I didn't deserve it, I would be like, yes, I do. I worked very hard for this. But when I'm talking to myself, I'm like, I don't deserve any of this. And I have like imposter syndrome. I don't deserve to move to another city. I don't deserve to get a nice apartment. I don't deserve to afford nice things. I don't deserve being happy as a young adult. And honestly, manifesting has helped me so much. I've also made a video and a podcast about manifesting. Massive plugs today. Manifesting helps me because I realize that this isn't something that just like sprung about on me. A lot of the things in my life I've been working hard and working towards for a very, very, very long time. And if I write down my manifestations, I can look back and realize like, okay, holy shit, this has been a work in progress for a long time. Even looking back like where I was 1 year ago and then comparing it to now, it makes me realize that everything in my life, it wasn't just falling into my lap. I worked for a lot of it. It's easy to feel like, oh, I don't deserve to get into this school, but then you look back and realize a year ago you were studying so hard for your SATs so that you could get into your dream school. It's really easy to feel like, oh, I don't deserve this well-paying job. And then you look back and realize, okay, I busted my ass for 4 years in college. And then on top of that, I networked like crazy so that I could get a position like this. When you have something right in front of you, it's really easy to forget that this was a work in progress for a very long time and not just by fate. And then on a darker note, I felt really, really, really guilty a couple years ago about feeling depressed. I felt so immensely guilty because I was like, I have everything that I could ever want in my entire life right now, right in front of me. And why am I so sad? Why am I so depressed? And to be completely honest, therapy is what helped me. Talking it through with someone and realizing that it's okay to feel these things. You can't always help a chemical imbalance in your brain, but it's really easy to feel awful about yourself when you have everything that you could ever want right in your lap and you're just not happy. It makes you feel ungrateful. It makes you feel selfish. I don't ever wish that feeling upon anyone. Being depressed is hard enough as it is, but feeling guilt on top of that, icky feeling. And then finally, I had a lot of guilt over the last few years about not uploading consistently or missing a day. And I realized that it's really okay and that a lot of you will never notice. And that's not a bad thing. You guys have lives of your own. You guys have other videos to watch. Me missing a video, it'll be okay. I also realized that if I'm happy, most of you are happy as well, and you guys have showed that to me. I cannot do my best if I am personally not doing my best. A bitch had to go outside and touch grass. That's what I needed to do. Go touch grass, guys. You guys know the drill. The feeling of guilt leads you to just more and more failure, because there's no like happy outcome with feeling guilty. It's easy to be like, oh, I'm just gonna not feel guilty, but it doesn't work like that. It does take a lot of effort and work, honestly. And like I said, I'm not there yet. I'm so much better in some categories than I was before, but I'm still not 100% there. And I wish that more people talked about having guilt issues, because I thought I was the only one who felt bad a lot of the time. And that would just make me feel even more guilty, because I didn't know anyone who felt similarly to me. Not to mention, it's just really common in our world for especially young women to be forced to feel guilty for enjoying things. We see it all the time. Women are scrutinized for having hobbies, liking things in media. It's awful. The biggest advice that I have is to try your best to not feel guilty for anything that makes you happy and that makes you feel alive. That was kind of gross, but I just really wish that people's guilt would not be mistaken for being caring or empathizing with others, because in reality, it's a lot of suffering. I'm gonna continue working on it, and I hope that those of you who also struggle with this are gonna continue working at it as well, because it does not feel good. Thanks for listening to me ramble about guilt. Let me know what is the best way for you to charge me, since you are taking place of my therapy this week. When the camera wants to get shoved up your ass, it's gonna get shoved up your ass. If you like this video, please make sure that you leave it a like. Also leave a comment if you have any more advice for people in the comments struggling with guilt issues. Make sure that you subscribe if you want to be nasty, if not you're disgusting. Also make sure I have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. Like feeling guilty. If you want to follow me on my other social media like Instagram, Twitter, Depop, Spotify, it's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty. I'm gonna go now because I actually do feel guilty, because I might be too loud and making my parents wake up. Good night.